This course is composed of movies between 3 and 7 minutes in length, organized with other movies in sections of related techniques or topics, starting with this section providing an overview of this tutorial and the hypertext markup language, and including a review of the various services you'll need to create and publish your first HTML pages. Next, this section reviews the building blocks that make up HTML, including tags, tag attributes, IDs and classes, URLs, and much, much more. Next is a review of the various components that make up the structure of HTML pages, such as headers, footers, divisions, tables, and much, much more. Code for formatting color and images is next, followed by HTML for coding links. This is followed by information about how to create tables and format table elements. You'll then be introduced to HTML forms and how to create various form elements such as radio buttons, checkboxes, drop-down and selection lists, and much, much more. The tutorial then moves on to the topic of CSS, starting with an examination of the concepts that lie at the heart of CSS, including the syntax rules, the 3 selectors, custom classes, tag redefines, advanced CSS selectors, and more. Next are movies covering how to create new styles and organize them into style sheets embedded into a page source code or in standalone style documents. This is followed by a chapter covering the elements that constitute the building blocks of CSS, as well as designing web pages, including divisions or div tags, and information about margins, adding borders, widths, heights, and much, much more. Text is unarguably the most important element of any web page, so next I demonstrate CSS techniques for formatting text. In this chapter, you'll learn about choosing fonts, applying styles to text, setting the line heights and letter spacing, styling drop caps, as well as tips for improving text legibility. Next, you'll learn how to style lists, colors, and images using CSS, followed by how to lay out pages using CSS div elements, including a variety of positioning schemes and options, how to apply floats in your layouts, and the various types of CSS page layouts common on the web today. Next, we dig deeper into HTML5, including its differences with HTML4 and some of the HTML5's exciting new features and capabilities, including its new structural elements, its media playback capabilities, and some of the new HTML5 APIs that are now available. Next, I introduce the advanced topics of XML, JavaScript, multimedia, dynamic HTML, and AJAX, including sources of information for learning more. The tutorial then concludes with a review of the skills and tools you'll need to publish your site so it can be seen by anyone with a browser. Before we begin, I need to orientate you on how these videos work. I'm currently using screen capturing software to record my voice and computer screen. The video images you'll see running on my screen are being captured by this screen recording program. I will be recording my screen while demonstrating all the important features and capabilities of HTML and CSS. These movies were recorded on a PC running Vista using Windows Notepad or Adobe Dreamweaver and the Windows-based version of the Firefox and Internet Explorer and other browsers. However, the Mac version of these applications is very similar, if not identical, so if you're using a Macintosh, there really should be no differences from what I'm displaying here. One of the best features of this tutorial are all the HTML files and code that I've included and that were used to demonstrate the content covered in the individual movies. Access these files in the Work Files folder. They're named in accordance with the name of the movie they were used for. For example, to have a look at the HTML file used in the movie covering the doc type tag, open the file entitled doc_type.htm. You'll find these working files very helpful in your efforts to learn HTML in the most efficient and effective manner. For example, here is the HTML file that I have included for the block quote tag. You can actually look at the source code. You can open this up in a text editor. Check out all of the HTML there. In many cases, you'll want to use these working files to work along with my demonstrations in a particular movie. Opening and investigating the wealth of files that I've organized for you here in the Work Files folder will give you insights and learning opportunities beyond what's covered in the tutorial movies. Use these working HTML and CSS files to practice techniques covered in the movies. to see how the author of the movie has set up the code, CSS rules, element positioning, media files, JavaScript code, and much, much more. Each movie was chosen or created to demonstrate and instruct on a specific skill or technique, so I have included them in this tutorial to give you more help in mastering this information.